Greetings everyone, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, and I'm back to bring you another episode review from the Loud House Summer Camp arc. So let's get right into it. Today's summer camp episode is Don't Lose Your Cool. In this episode, camp counselor Lori overhears some girls saying she's uncool because of how strict she is about following the rules, so she tries to prove that she's not as uncool as they think she is. The first thing that came to mind when I was watching the plot unfold was the season 1 episode, No Guts, No Glory. Don't Lose Your Cool is presented as a different version of No Guts. If I'm being honest, this summer camp episode is way better than No Guts. In terms of characters and writing, Don't Lose Your Cool is how No Guts should have been presented. The episode begins with Lori trying to keep her campers in check by making sure they're not late to the mess hall and holding up the lunch line by making special orders. She assumes the girls like her, but they actually can't stand how obsessed she is about following the rules. So Lori tries to show them that she can be a bit of a rule breaker by going places and doing things, and not doing things, that would normally be against camp policy. Unfortunately, all her attempts to show how cool she is backfire, and everyone is made to suffer because of her actions. But when Lori makes it up to the girls by sneaking away from the campground after dark to get some bourbon burger, the girls begin to change their opinion about her. Now we come to the second half of the story, and this is where Lori assumes the same role Lincoln had in No Guts. The girls plead with Lori to take them to the mess hall for some dessert. Against her better judgment and not wanting to backtrack on the cool kid progress she was making, Lori sneaks everyone into the kitchen through an open window, and that's when all hell broke loose. The campers started getting after all kinds of sugary treats, and everything broke down into a massive food fight. Lori lost control of the situation with her campers the same way Lincoln lost control of his sisters in No Guts. It was all because both characters wanted to prove they weren't some kind of overbearing authority figure and wanted to look cool in the eyes of the people they were supposed to take care of. However, not setting any boundaries led to complete chaos, and both characters needed to get everything under control. While Lincoln tried to put his foot down but ultimately had to turn to his eldest sister for help, Lori angrily raised her voice and ordered the girls to clean up the mess they made. As much as I can't stand how Lori was presented in No Guts, Don't Lose Your Cool really puts into perspective why Lori acted the way she did back in season 1. Yes, there was a time where she was depicted as a tyrannical drill sergeant whose strict orders pushed the idea of maintaining control way too hard, but I like how this summer camp episode takes that very same mentality and dials it down to a more appropriate and realistic level. Lori is never seen throwing her weight around and angrily demanding, if not commanding, her campers to fall in line. The only time she did that was when she needed them to stop making a mess in the kitchen. However, she only yelled at them not because she wanted to, but because she had to. She wasn't deliberately trying to make their summertime experience miserable just for her own personal satisfaction. Most of the time, she talked to the girls in a friendly yet slightly authoritative tone, so the way she acted as a camp counselor was one of both maturity and respectability. In the eyes of the campers, they think Lori is a jerk who's trying to stop them from having a good time. We all used to think the same thing about adults when we were little kids, so I can relate to the girls feeling frustrated about Lori telling them what to do and what they can't do. Now, even though I can sympathize with them in some areas, like not being allowed to go ziplining before all the other campers, their overall stance about Lori obsessing over the rules because she's some kind of uncool control freak couldn't be further from the truth. Lori explains to the girls that even though she wants to make sure everyone has fun, she also needs to make sure everyone is both safe and acting respectful. It doesn't matter if sticking to the rules makes her look cool or uncool. As a camp counselor, Lori has a responsibility to uphold, and that's more important than trying to impress a bunch of little kids by trying to be an edgy rule breaker. Her little speech near the end was a good reinforcement of the underlying maternal instinct she's displayed throughout the series. The episode Meet the Parents being a good recent example. In the end, the campers realized why Lori needed to put her foot down, and they apologized for their rowdy and disrespectful behavior. The episode wraps up with everyone being on good terms and Lori starting a friendly pillow fight, showing how she can still have a rule-breaking fun side, even if it's a very subtle one. I don't know if pillow fights are against camp policy, but maybe they should because it might disturb a sleeping porcupine. Speaking of which, I'll finish off the review by talking about some of the episode's most eye-catching moments. First, I enjoyed the little running gag of Lori and her campers acting like porcupines. It was both very silly and very cute. The gag is made even funnier when you notice a wild porcupine randomly popping up every now and again. First, he gets offended when he believes the girls are indirectly making fun of the way he walks and talks, even though he's doing the exact same thing they just did. Later, he can be seen vibing on an open windowsill while Lori tries to play some indoor mini golf. And of course, I can't forget the part where he was trying to sleep on the same open windowsill until he was hit by a flying pillow. Note to self, if you don't want to get hit by flying porcupine quills, maybe it's best you keep the window shut. Then there's the scene where one of the girls drops root beer bottles on the floor, but surprisingly none of them break. How can glass bottles survive a fall and then have the caps fly off and start spraying soda all over the place? Comedic cartoon logic, that's how. And finally, Luann can be seen in the mess hall while Mr. Coconuts is acting as the chef. I can't be the only one who thought their scenes were not even remotely funny. The idea of Luann using her puppet to prepare food was just meh. Luann has been shown to have some decent culinary skills, and yet she allows Mr. Coconuts to flip the burgers, some of which getting dropped on the floor. The worst part is that Luann actually gives those disgusting reject burgers to the campers. Here's an important question. Where the hell is her dad? You know, the guy who was already working as the camp cook in the episode Ticked Off? There's no way Lynn Sr. would have made that big of a mess if he was the one preparing the food. Just 3 episodes into the summer camp miniseries, and already the writers forgot who was supposed to be running the mess hall. Say it with me, people. Consistency! Overall, with this episode serving as the midpoint to the summer camp arc, this was a really good showcase for Lori's character. It took elements from the past episode, No Guts, No Glory, and actually made a better story. The episode did a tremendous job of presenting Lori as the kind of authority figure who acts the way she does because she was entrusted with the responsibility of looking after the campers. She thought trying to be a rule breaker would make her look cool, but doing so didn't achieve the result she wanted. Trying to be cool came at a price, and Lori realized that she'd rather be uncool if it meant making sure her campers didn't get hurt, let alone get into trouble. Even the campers came to realize why Lori wanted them to follow the rules. She was just looking out for their well-being, and they learned to appreciate that. If anything, this episode was another example of how far Lori has come since the first season. She started out as a brash teenager, always barking orders at her younger siblings, and eventually grew into a mature adult. She still commands authority over little kids, but she does so in a gentler and motherly sort of way, while also showing that she doesn't have to say no all the time. I'll take this new Lori over the old one any day. With that said, I give Don't Lose Your Cool an 8 out of 10. Well folks, that concludes my review of Don't Lose Your Cool. So I gotta ask, what did you guys think of this episode? Sound off in the comments below, and be sure to click that subscribe button for more Loud House related content. That's going to do it for me. I'll catch you guys for the next video, but until then, this is SteamTeamRedubUK, CC Trainor-Ling, signing off. Peace out, home slices.